back to my channel. This is JPTV with Julz Savard, everybody!
Hello!
Pakonti ng pakonti yung audience natin.
Parang umalis yung mga iba dun sa likod eh. Nahiya sila eh.
Ayos mo tayo dyan!
Energy!
Energy! Wala silang power today. But we're back with another video on adulting with Joyce Pring and Julz Savard. So this is a series of video where we teach you how to adult. Not that we're experts at it or that we're very good at what, you know, the advice, but these are things that we've learned along the way that we hope will help you guys too when it comes to traversing through your adult life.
Yes. We want to encourage you guys too, because we don't have all the answers.
We don't.
But as much as possible from our life experiences, we'll try to give you some wisdom as you're older at this.
And I think, you know, it's so difficult because to get advice or to listen to advice and follow advice from older people.
Yeah.
Like for example, if they're in their 30s, their 40s, their 50s, your parents.
Yeah.
I was like, syempre kasi you're in your 50s, you can say that. It's easier to do
Yeah.
that. But when you have someone young as us who know nothing
Yeah.
telling you what to do, it's easier to follow, right?
Yeah, it is, because it's somebody that you can relate to, because it's just like, okay, she's going through the same thing that I'm going through, so let me just see what she has to say, you know?
So today, this is a very important topic for both Julz and I, because it's something that we struggle with, and I know a lot of people do too. It's a struggle that a lot of people don't want to discuss publicly.
Yeah.
Like they don't want to talk about it with other people. So we realize that it's really important to start a conversation about anxiety.
And I think mental health, you know, obviously is such a topic that's discussed nowadays, and a lot of people they talk about depression and everything, but sometimes I really also want to talk about anxiety and how that is definitely sometimes an issue that has to be addressed and has to be, you know, fixed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You actually started a group, right?
I did. I started an org. I am no longer the head of that org anymore. I turned it over, but I'm definitely still working with them. We're called Where There Is Hope. And we're a Christian nonprofit mental health organization. So we address mental health issues as much as possible. We want to be a safe place.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is definitely a topic it's in my heart. And yeah.
When did you realize that it was something that you really want to start a conversation with other people? Like anxiety, particularly.
Anxiety, okay, it wasn't really anxiety first, it was more depression, because I had been struggling with depression for 3 years, and before I had given my life over to Jesus, it was something that was just tormenting me. And so when I came into the faith and when I started to know more about Jesus and more about the Bible, I was just like, Lord, I feel like there's something that you want me to start about this, because it's not talked about in the church. Sometimes, if anything, they shy away from the topic, but it is a real thing. Depression, anxiety, they are real things, and they need to be talked about. They need to be put out in the open so that people don't feel alone, number one, and so that people get hope, knowing that, number one, they're not alone, and number two, it will get better. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's just a season. Sometimes you're just going through it for a few weeks or a few months, but there's always, the sun will come out tomorrow. Eventually, yeah. So never get stuck in that place. Never isolate yourself. You have to be open and honest, even raw and vulnerable at times.
And you know, I think I've also done the same thing. So I've been experiencing depression since high school, and I realized that I've been experiencing anxiety since I was in college. So for the longest time, whenever I'd get an anxiety attack, I thought at that time na, wait, hinihika ba ako? That's what I'm thinking, because I couldn't breathe. I get super nauseous, like my palms and the soles of my feet would tingle, and I just couldn't move.
Wow.
And I thought at that time na, okay, I think I'm having hika. Okay. Nobody ever talks about anxiety. Like I knew I was depressed because I had medications growing up.
Yeah.
So I had a season where I was drinking medications, which I eventually stopped. But anxieties, I never
Doesn't it seem to be that anxiety is like the one that you don't notice or recognize as much?
You don't recognize it.
But then as it keeps going, or sometimes it keeps growing in certain aspects of your life, that's when you start like, whoa, this is a red flag already.
Yeah.
I shouldn't be experiencing this. I shouldn't be feeling this right now. Yeah. I kind of experienced my first panic attack just this year. That's why I'm a little new to what anxiety is. I don't know how long I've been struggling with it, but it definitely happened this year. I remember going to the bank, and it was the same sort of panic that I had where I couldn't like deposit a check. Like something was going wrong and they didn't want to deposit my check. And all of a sudden I felt like just my hands getting numb and my heart beating really fast and tears just streaming down my eyes out of nowhere. And then the girl literally looks at me, the banker, she's just like, are you okay, ma'am? Like she was really concerned about me. I I think I need to step outside for a bit. And you find along the way the things that help you. Like they always say with anxiety, find 3 things around you that you can touch, that you can feel, just to ground yourself again, just to normalize your environment. And during that time, I literally just like walked over to the Starbucks and I got a cookie. And I know that that was the simplest thing. It was just, you know, I just got a cookie, but for some reason it helped because it reminded me that like you're still here, you're okay, you know what I mean? The world hasn't ended.
Yeah.
But in that moment, you really don't know what to do. You really can't process what you're feeling.
Yeah, same thing. I only really realized that I had anxiety also this year. So I've been having it since college, but this year, what happened to me, the first anxiety attack that I had this year was during a scuba trip. So I was scuba diving, I was underwater, around 30 meters underwater, and then I started having a panic attack. So I was looking at my dive master, tapos biglang umikot yung mundo ko.
Oh my gosh.
As in, it was so scary.
Yeah.
I couldn't breathe, and then I had to hold on to my dive master because I kept kicking up, and you can't kick up too quickly because it's dangerous.
Yeah.
So he had to hold me down, and I was faintly breathing going up, and I almost lost consciousness.
Oh gosh.
Because I was having a bad panic attack. And then that was the beginning of just an entire season of mga 6 or 7 months na continuous anxiety attacks on the plane, which I never had. Tapos biglang ganun din yung nangyayari sa akin. Same thing, I couldn't breathe, my heart is beating so fast, and then parang nagko-close yung buong plane sa akin. I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And same thing with reading. I was telling Julz about it earlier when we were talking off camera, that when I read, there were times when I couldn't figure out which were my thoughts and which were the things I was just reading.
Yes.
So
you
parang,
get stuck in your head.
Yeah, parang meron siyang, like, nawawala ako sa reality. That's the thing. Like, that's why what you said makes so much sense to me, because I couldn't. May disconnect. There was a disconnect in my brain. And then when I was swimming, I would always feel like I was gonna drown. So that's why I stopped doing triathlon for a while.
Yeah.
So many of these crazy things. And one thing, when I told my dad about it, my dad really did his research, because I told him specifically that I don't want to drink medicines anymore.
Yeah.
So I didn't, that was my personal choice. I understand that some people
of course
have to take it, you know, by all means, go to your doctor, talk to somebody, and drink your medicines.
Yes.
But for me personally, it just wasn't an option for me anymore.
Yeah.
And so I told my dad, I don't want to do that. What can you help me with? So he said he looked for breathing exercises.
Good.
So whenever I have anxiety attacks now, and I go back to what my dad taught me when it comes to breathing exercises, it really helped.
Yeah.
Like, because it just physically, it slows your heartbeat down. It makes you kind of calm down a little bit better.
Yeah.
So yeah, that helps.
I think with me, my first thing that I go to is honest. Okay, not all the time. I'll be real with you guys. Not all the time. Sometimes I try to deal with my anxiety on my own, but I find in the times where I just stop and pray, it really helps. Because what I think happens is, I know my thoughts are here, but when I verbalize my thoughts, that's when I can start to comprehend them a bit better. Also, because I'm giving them to a higher being, I'm giving them to God, I know that He's hearing me, and I know that He's like helping me understand what's going on at the same time. Like, you know, just by His Spirit, He's sifting through the noise, He's sifting through the mess that is my mind, and He's just like, be still.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're all right. And I can clearly hear Him say that still small voice, where I know automatically that, you know what, you're fine, Julz. Like I said, the world isn't ending anytime soon. Just ground yourself. But there are practical things to do to deal with your anxiety. That's my number one go-to, is I really just have to pray.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I have to hear what I'm thinking. I have to say it out loud. Yeah.
That's so important. When I really think about it that way, when I pray and when I surrender it to God, the thing that I realized this year was the reason why I was having anxieties is because I tried to bring everything in my life according to my control. So I was still serving God. I was still, you know, being a good Christian. I was still following Christ. But to a certain extent, I kept all of these things under my control, or at least under the illusion that I have control over everything. And then when I really thought about it, why was I afraid of riding an airplane? Why was I afraid of being close in? Why was I afraid of drowning? It was ultimately because I was so afraid of losing everything on this earth.
Yeah.
So that was my struggle. Na parang, God really taught me na, see, this is why you're having this anxiety. This is your trigger.
Yeah.
Because you're starting to understand that you have no control whatsoever.
True.
And that's what happened to me.
Yeah.
And then eventually, when I really processed it, I fasted about it and I prayed about it also. What God really taught me was the fact that I have nothing to be afraid of.
Yeah.
When your identity is rooted in Christ, to live is Christ, to die is gain.
Yeah.
So, okay, this is how I think now. Everything bad that can happen to me here physically is nothing compared to the time that I close my eyes, I die, and then the minute I open my eyes, I see Jesus.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And then when I think about it that way, na, oo nga, no.
There's not that much to be afraid of.
There's not much to be afraid of.
Yeah.
And then you allow yourself to be.
Yeah.
Right? Like you allow yourself na. Another thing that I read that could really help you out physically, some of the practical things that you can do is to just kind of think of like what's the worst that could happen and let yourself just have that anxiety attack.
Yeah.
So I remember that one of the things though that could trigger your anxiety attack is if you keep trying to stop it.
Yes.
Like, I can't have an anxiety attack. I can't have an anxiety attack. And then it gives you more panic.
Yes.
So one of the things that I researched about, they said, just allow yourself to go and say, na, okay, go and have that anxiety attack.
Yeah.
Go and look silly. Go
Yeah.
and look stupid. Go and cry.
Go cry.
Go.
Exactly. Even if you look like a fool, even if you're, you know what I mean? You don't ever have to feel like how you're feeling makes you look ridiculous or makes you look silly. Because the truth of the matter is we're all going through the same thing. As much as we think that, okay, this is just happening to me right now. No, it's happening to several other people at the same time. We may not be as vocal about it or we may not show it as much, but I feel like you have to give yourself the space to just let it out.
Yeah.
You know what
That's
I mean?
true.
Even if you go to the bathroom and you just have to cry it out there, you have to wail, go, do it, get it out of your system, you know? The anxiety that I've had more so like recently in my life is just that if I don't see something happening right away, then automatically I'm just like, okay, then nothing's going to happen. You know what I mean? So like right now I'm planning out like a tour for my album that's going to be released and stuff, and I'm just like, if things aren't happening when I say they should happen, then they're not going to happen at all. But that's not the case, because if you're really relying on God and if you're really surrendering it to Him, it happens according to His timeline, and it happens in His own way. All you can do is what you can do, and God makes it happen.
I love what Matt Chandler once said, yung sa Orange Revival niya na, it's not about you, so you can relax.
Yes!
Isn't that great?
Yes, it's not about you,
So you can relax. Like the whole universe, it's not about you. It's not about who you are, what you're gonna achieve, where life is gonna bring you. It's not about you.
The world does not revolve around you.
You can start relaxing.
Yes.
And I think that's one of the best things that you can really think about when you're having all of these panic attacks and you're starting to doubt yourself and you're going through difficult seasons, that it's not about you. You are created by God. You are loved by God. And as long as you pursue Him and put Him in the center of your being and your life, then everything will be okay. And
Amen,
lastly, to our
sister.
point,
Yes.
I think one thing that Julz and I can both agree with is you just have to find a great community also.
Oh yeah, definitely. Find people that, you know, you surround yourself with people who love you and who understand, people that you can call even at like 2 a.m. in the morning when you're feeling that way, who will just reassure you, who will just even pray for you, and who will just, you know, give you the love and the comfort that you need in that moment. Because the last thing you want is somebody going, hoy, wag ka nga ganyan, or tama na nga yan. Like, no, like, people who let you be you, even in those weird times where you don't understand what's going on, having them there, just having somebody as like a, not really an anchor. Our anchor is Jesus, but He allows people in our lives to act as, you know what I mean, His hands and His feet. So allow people to help you.
Yeah, they become channels of blessings, kindness, and goodness to you.
Yeah.
And you know, the worst thing that has happened to me before is when you tell somebody about your anxiety or your depression, sasabihin nila sa'yo, bakit? Wala ka, hindi mo dapat nararamdaman yan. Sobrang blessed mo. And I'm like,
That's not the point. You know what I mean?
I think that's exactly the problem of depression and anxiety, because there's nothing around you that could change parang the way that you feel. Like you can have the best life, you can have the best people around you, you can be having the greatest time of your life and just still feel that way.
And we're our worst enemies.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You know, people could be like, come on, you have everything. What more could you ask for? What could you be depressed or anxious about? And it's just like, dude, we're just our worst enemies. You know what I mean? So we really got to give it to God, and we got to remember it's not about us. So.
It's not about you, so you can relax.
Relax. Please breathe.
Breathe. breathe, pray, surround yourself with people who love and care for you. So those are the things that have really helped Julz and I deal with our anxieties.
Yes, and we're still struggling with it, and we're still figuring it out. We're dealing with it. It's a daily thing. It's not just a overnight, oh look, I'm gone, it's gone, you know what I mean? No, sometimes you really just have to write it out, but just always remember it's a season. It's not going to last.
It's not gonna last forever. Ah! And that's it for this video of Adulting with Joyce Pring and Julz Savard. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Also, check out Julz stuff.
Yes, Julz Savard. Just go. We'll link it
Everywhere. Yeah, we will.
See ya. Thank you.